Stopping the intro because I do not feel like going through that routine right now. Okay, two things before I get started here. First of all, sorry for the crappy mic quality. I forgot my headset at work today. I would have waited to do this video, but this is one of those videos where you either do it now or you just don't do it at all. Second, this is going to be a rant video yet thought experiment all in one, so everybody is encouraged to be highly critical of what I am about to say. And I emphasize that even greater now because this is one of the Why So Dark series, knowing that I'm going to be criticizing you.
But as you're currently demonstrating, you don't have any balls!
And lastly, everything I'm about to say applies to me as well, so it's not just you guys. So, as you already know, TFM and I covered an article on the 420 show about this woman from Spain who advocates for castration for baby boys at birth. And for those who have a soul, found it cringy. But even before that, somebody had linked an article about this Florida woman who had squeezed his boyfriend's genitals until they bled, causing damage. But even after the show, somebody linked me yet another article about these two lesbians that forcefully castrated this young boy in an attempt to make him a transgender woman and then eventually killed him a year later. So is this why you're so angry lately, Shogun? No, not necessarily. I will get to that in a moment. Because yes, we have seen articles like this time and time again. We've seen discussions about it in the media, and so forth and so forth.
So what's the matter, Shogun? Are you just mad because nobody's protesting it? Is that it?
Well, yeah, but that's not why I bothered to do a video on this. So I woke up at like 3 a.m. this morning, and I was already thinking about this topic, thinking, why does this happen so much, and why does everybody allow it? It's easy to jump to the conclusion and say, oh, well, just nobody just cares about men. Well, we already know that. I mean, it's gotten to the point where I'm convinced that majority of red pill people just don't care about men or their fellow man. They say they do, but in actuality, they don't, due to their lack of empathy towards other men. And why are you so bothered about it this time? I'll tell you why. It's because you have so many people laughing about it. It seems to me like some people found that topic funny. So what is this, The View? But yeah, you know, it's always funny when it happens to someone else, but when it happens to you or someone you love, oh no, then it becomes a problem that I still won't do anything about. Because, hey, getting ready for some ear rape, I've warned you. Because you're a giant pussy! Now, of course, I'm not talking about everybody, but I've noticed this with a lot of people on both sides of the spectrum. And this has been a subject of comedy for a long, long time. So let's go back to that incident with The View. With Sharon Osbourne. Yeah, Ozzy deserves better. Now, they were sitting around on a round table laughing about this man that had his junk cut off by his ex-girlfriend. And they continued to make fun of him all throughout the segment. Although I was actually kind of surprised that they actually blew up the Twitter, and the next day kind of forced them to apologize. But you could really tell that their apology was just half-assed anyway, because they were laughing the whole time, making that lame apology. But since we already know that story, I'm going to take things a few steps further. I see this in a lot of movies, actually, where some guy gets his junk cut off or gets it blasted with a shotgun or something like that, and it's just a part of entertainment. I see it so often in movies to the point where I'm amazed to myself, why do you guys either think this is funny or think that this is even remotely entertaining? I just don't get it. Examples of that include Hobo with a Shotgun, where the hobo shoots this guy in the junk and his junk is just all mangled everywhere. Then there was another movie which I don't remember the name of, I just happened to walk into a room and other people were watching it and laughing at it, where this guy had his junk severed from him and he was forced to bend down on his knees and pick it up with his mouth. And people were laughing about it. I mean, there were other movies like I don't know the name of this one, but essentially he had his junk cut off and it was thrown to some dogs where the dogs just ate it like it was a steak or a hot dog or whatever. But when there was that one movie where somebody shoved a knife up this woman's vagina Oh yeah, there was some backlash because of that. Oh yeah. Now, I've never told you guys this before, but even though I still have my foreskin intact, I still have a male genital mutilation story. I won't get detailed on it, but it's pretty disturbing every time I look down there and see that huge scar on my dick. That is the biggest scar I have on my body. Yes, I know what it's like. I have a story, and it's not pleasant either. So yes, I know what it's like to go through this. I know what it's like to be raped repeatedly starting at age 12. You gonna make fun of me too? Oh yeah? Well, fuck you too! Now don't get me wrong, I don't find any form of genital mutilation, whether it's male or female, to be entertaining or even funny. But I find it just amazing how we are so desensitized to our own self-destruction, especially us as men. But in reality, it doesn't actually surprise me because I understand we as men, we're disposable and we're just tools that are just for everybody's amusement. But I believe that the psychology behind desensitization and complacency is largely to blame. So I'm going to link 2 articles from the National Center for Biotechnology information. So there are just a few studies I found on how young adolescents and adults react to violent situations in the media, as even in real life situations. The more violence you're exposed to, the more desensitized and the less empathetic you feel. When I was young, I used to wonder to myself, now why do we get entertained by movies that feature violence, gore, dismemberment, and so on? But when there's a movie about the opposite, it's somehow considered boring and childlike. But I won't digress any further. My point is this. We're so desensitized to the point that we just feel it to be normal. Even I admit that I just think it's just normal for feminists to be attacking men in the terms of rights and liberties, freedom of speech, and so on. I've seen it all my life and I just think it's normal. But going back to complacency, if there's one thing I see in the red pill community happening all the time is the constant complaining about feminists, feminism, feminist politics, SJWs, Muslims, Sharia law, and all that good stuff in between. But do you know what I see them doing when they're offended as opposed to when we are offended? What do? They actually get up and they do something about it. They demand something be changed, and they put the fear of God in the politicians' hearts. But even when the feminists, Antifa, and the Muslims do their demonstrations, they're not always violent. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. And frankly, you don't even have to be violent yourselves. Now, I am willing to bet you or anybody $100 that if the men in Spain were to get pissed off and suddenly march and surround that building where that woman is advocating for boys to get castrated at birth, that they will not only stop, but she will retract those words, apologize, and it will never be spoken again. But that leads me to another problem. Men just don't want to think on one accord. The feminists do, the Muslims do, but hey, even the Arab Christians do. Remember that article that we covered on the 420 show where in Israel they created this Ronald McDonald Jesus and put it in a museum? Oh yeah, the Arab Christians were pissed. They marched down to that museum and demanded that it be removed, lest they remove it for him. And let me tell you, they did not want them to remove it for them. What did they do? They complied. And here in the US, you have the advantage because you can still legally own guns. I'm still willing to bet that if every man picked up his gun and marched to that government building and said, okay, we're going to stop this and we're going to stop this now, I bet you those politicians will listen.
Oh no, we can't do that, Shogun. What if they get the SWAT team on us? They're gonna sick dogs on us. You know, I want someone to start the rebellion, but I don't want it to be me, because I don't want to die. I want to live to see the next day. I want to live to play the next video game on Xbox, or get the next Steam release.
And you are the reason why we are in this mess. Because of you and your complacency, the enemy is continuously encroaching on your territory, seeking to come and kill you. The enemy has already shown their hand, and they have flat out said, we are coming for your dick and balls. what are you going to do about it? And what do you guys actually do about it? You guys constantly tell me you just got to find your happy place in Clown World. That's how you rule Clown World. You just got to out-crazy them. There's no enemy over here, so let's just move over here. You know, they're not going to come after us, or at least not yet. We're going to have a few moments of good times until they actually come to take us away. But oh no, the enemy, they're actually coming for us now. Oh no, we don't have any other places to go to. I don't have my own red pill safe space anymore. What are we gonna...
And not a nut or bolt to be found. Not that you had any nuts to begin with.
Is this seriously a hard concept for you guys to grasp? And yes, I know the system is screwed. But realistically speaking, I don't trust anyone who has not actually tried to fix the system before and doesn't try to fix the system now to actually try to fix the system after a collapse. So this is why I'm black-pilled. This is why I have no faith in humanity. And this is why I think that killing you all sometimes is a kindness. Just so we don't have to repeat the cycle over and over again. But complacency is a isn't it? But, like I said, I'm guilty of it too, so it's not just you guys, once again. But then, why don't I stand alone? The answer to that is pretty simple. I've seen several protests of lone gunmen, well, not literal gunmen, but just lone protesters protesting this. And what happens? Their sacrifice is either in vain, the media just misconstrues it, and reverses it to look like it's something completely different than what it is. And ultimately the effort was fruitless. That is why I don't just act alone. You see, there's a reason why I say I have no friends. And I honestly believe I have no friends. On red pill or blue pill side. So whether you're a man, woman, I don't care. I don't consider you my brother in arms. Literally, because I don't trust any of you guys to have my back when push comes to shove. One day the enemy's going to be knocking at our doors, and we're going to be thinking about how to save our own hides. That's just the way it is. But I still tell you guys this because I want to hopefully motivate somebody out there. Because, frankly, two wrongs don't make a right. Now, I know I tend to lose the most subscribers over the Why So Dark series, but to be honest, I don't even care. Because I believe this needed to be said, and I feel like I'm the only one that says it the way I do. Completely without a filter. I don't care whether my channel gets shut down. I know that I'm on borrowed time, given the upcoming purge coming. So, whatever. There's always BitChute. So if you don't like what I just said, then in all seriousness, just get f***ed. Oh wait, we already are. Okay, I'm done. That's all.